Hi guys, I'm Andy, and this is
Aiden.
And I'm the father, and he's the son.
Father and son.
Father and son.
That's why our name is that way.
That's right. Welcome to our very first episode of As Father and Son. We have been talking about doing this for
a good long while.
Probably about a year, huh?
Has it been that long?
Probably about a year.
Maybe like 8 months.
So we're finally doing it.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Star Wars, superheroes, and other pop culture things.
We're pop culture people.
That's right. We love Star Wars especially. When I was a kid, saw Star Wars in the theater, fell in love with Darth Vader, fell in love with Star Wars. And of course, I did what any good dad does and just pass it on to this guy. Okay. So we figured we'd start off because we just got done with the 2019 Christmas season, where we got Rise of Skywalker that came out. They wrapped up the Mandalorian, and plus there's Christmas. So we figured today we'd just go over a few of those things, and hope you guys enjoy it. So let's talk Rise of Skywalker first.
Okay.
All right. So before you start, I want to go first. Okay? Because. Okay. Here's what I want to say about this. Mm-hmm. I thought, and I told you this before, I thought that when they first started this whole Force Awakens thing, like episode 7, 8, 9,
mm-hmm.
that episode 7, I thought episode 7 was great. I loved episode 7. Episode 8,
he hates episode 8 with all his body, mind, and soul.
I don't like episode 8 at all.
It's probably like his second least favorite
So, movie. Rise of Skywalker, I liked it.
Yes.
And I went in from this perspective. When the movie first started and I first found out that Palpatine was back, right, I was kind of aggravated because to me that kind of, almost nullifies what Darth Vader did in Return of the Jedi, and that's one of my favorite things ever. But you can look at it from that perspective, or I could look at it from the perspective of they already had jacked up episode 8 pretty good, and somehow they had to fix this thing and wrap it up.
Yeah, and when he puts it in that perspective, he puts his happy face on it.
Yes, and I actually like that perspective, and so I was pretty happy with Rise of Skywalker. I think they did a lot of good fan service. I think there was a lot of good things in it, a lot of cool moments.
Easter eggs,
and Lando Calrissian. Right? I'm like, dude, that was awesome.
Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian.
Yes, that was awesome. I think at another time, maybe we'll come back and talk about just the Last Jedi and why, oh my gosh.
Why you think it stinks.
Why I think it stinks. Maybe we'll come back and talk about that.
That's probably what we should call the episode, is Why Daddy Thinks the Last Jedi Stinks.
I'm okay with that. All right, so your turn. Rise of Skywalker. What did you like about it?
There were a lot of things I liked. I think it was a really just good movie in general. Apparently Finn, what he was going to say to Rey is not "I love you,"
no.
Which I was hoping it would be. It's apparently the fact that he's Force sensitive.
Yes, which is kind of a bummer because I was really hoping that he was going to tell her he loved her.
That would have been better. And I'm I'm upset at that.
Because they hinted at that in The Force Awakens.
Well, duh. I mean, that, yeah. And apparently, and then you have the kiss with Rey and Kylo, which I'm 90.
At least he didn't have his shirt off. Wow.
We'll talk about this in another video.
Dear heavens.
Anyway, but the kiss between Rey and Kylo, it's I 90% approve of it. Although on the one hand, I really did want to see a kiss between Finn and Rey.
That would have been cool.
I wanted to see that. But anyway. The one thing I really do like, though, is how they were able to incorporate, some stuff that we don't usually see in the movies, is the Pathfinders looking like the Sith holocrons.
Yeah, that was kind of cool to see, and of course we'll get into all that too when we talk about the Clone Wars and Rebels and all that stuff. If you guys, anybody who has Disney Plus, man, we'll talk about this in a second when we talk about The Mandalorian, but anybody who has Disney Plus, man, please go back and watch the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. It makes The Mandalorian all the better. Oh my gosh.
I don't deserve that.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
All right, continue. Rise of Skywalker.
Anyway, I also like how the planet that they found that Kylo found the original Pathfinder at the beginning was actually Mustafar.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Super cool.
I never would have expected that. I also love how Kylo Ren is he's like the bravest guy in the galaxy at that point, is the fact that he just heard the entire galaxy go off with the news, and Palpatine flat out said, "I have returned to seek my revenge on the galaxy," and this is like Emperor Palpatine. He's supposed to be this super powerful guy.
Yeah.
And then Kylo just is like, "I'm not afraid." He finds a Pathfinder, he follows that to Exegol, and he flat out comes in and he's ready to kill Palpatine. I love that so much, that he's not holding back. He's like, he's like the bravest guy ever. Like, I don't care. I don't give a mess that you're really powerful. I'm gonna just come in and destroy you anyway.
Yeah, I actually liked that he turned back to the light, just like his grandfather, because in Force Awakens they really foreshadowed a lot of that. He was like just obsessed almost with his grandfather and with his grandfather's helmet, and wanted to be like his grandfather. And sure enough, he turned out like his grandfather, which is kind of cool, right?
Very cool.
However, I do wish that Ben would have been the one to do away with Palpatine.
Yes, I feel like that would have been
Rey.
more poetic than Rey. I mean,
totally
I do
agree
get
with
the irony. I did notice the other day, well, actually yesterday, the irony of Palpatine's granddaughter. It is kind of cool, the irony of the very vessel that Palpatine was planning to corrupt in order to live longer, ended up destroying him and his granddaughter. But I did love the scene where Rey somehow, like, the Force die connection between Kylo and Rey was allowed the lightsaber to be transported to Kylo when he was fighting the Knights.
That was pretty cool and interesting.
And it was also funny
and different. I wish they would have explained that, but I
feel like they kind of explained that.
The visual was kind of cool.
Because, I mean, I know you're going to hate the fact that I'm using an example from The Last Jedi. One of their first interactions through the Force, and Kylo ends up feeling the water droplets on his hands. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was the one time when it was raining. That was like the second or third reaction with the Force. Is the one time when it was raining and he felt the water droplets on his hands.
Yeah.
And he saw them. So I feel like they could kind of hinted that in The Last Jedi and then expounded on that in Rise of Skywalker.
That's true.
Another thing that's funny is the Knights of Ren were like in one of like the, I don't know if it was the Star Wars like Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary or something, but they were said that there were like no other warriors like the Knights of Ren, like they were the greatest warriors in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And like as soon as Ben got the lightsaber, he was able to just own all of them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man.
He was able to school and own all of them.
Well, he's just a powerful dude in the Force.
He was the bus driver in that fight.
Here are my highlights. Here are my highlights of the Rise of Skywalker. First of all, Lando Calrissian.
Yes.
The lightsaber fights I thought were really good.
I do think the lightsaber fights were very well
especially the one on the Death Star, because they're like going full force. I mean, you could tell they're hitting hard, which was pretty stinking.
I love the fact that I feel like Kylo really ups his game as far as his skill in really just the Force, and also his lightsaber combat.
Yeah. Is
really upped from The Last Jedi and Force Awakens to Rise of Skywalker, because you can tell he's just taking out bad guys. And he spent like the first 2 minutes of the duel with Rey with his lightsaber not even activated.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was awesome, that he was just constantly dodging blows until there we go.
It was cool that they brought the Ghost into the scene with all the ships come in.
Yes.
The Ghost is in there.
And they brought the Colossus from Star Wars Resistance.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And they brought a bunch of other ships too.
Yeah, that was really cool how they did all that. So there was that. Also,
Luke's Rise of the X-Wing.
Thank you. Duh. Oh my gosh.
That's the biggest highlight of the movie.
That was incredible, because we finally got that, because that was like single tier moment, especially for me.
Yes.
And plus they used the same music from Empire, which was totally cool.
And Rey got to put on the helmet.
Yes, that was really cool. And I like how they actually talked about Luke training Leia.
Yes, that was cool.
Rather than all of a sudden Leia's just like overpowered, and I'm like, Mary Poppins. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Is he cool?
Heck yeah, he's cool.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
You can tell we're big Poppins.
Guardians 2, that's a good movie. It's not as good as
it's
Guardians
not as good
1,
as the first one, not
but there's funny moments.
Definitely funny moments.
So okay, let's anything you want to add about Rise of Skywalker? Because I mean, we can always come back to this, but I think we should wrap it up for now.
I think that The Last Jedi could have been like what they did with Empire, and they could have made it like a much longer time span. Like there wasn't even a time span between Last Jedi and Force Awakens. They could have made a year or 3 years or 2 years. And they could have there was so much good stuff in The Rise of Skywalker that I feel like they could have spread it to The Last Jedi and made this nice congruent trilogy.
Yeah.
Because the one other YouTuber, Star Wars Theory, even said that his headcanon is 7 and 9. It's not 8.
Yeah.
Like his headcanon is just 7 and 9.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. All right, let's talk about Mandalorian.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so also I want to say something about Mandalorian though before, because I originally wanted you to start this one off, but I want to say something about this before we start because a lot of people don't know this. The people responsible for the Mandalorian are Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Now, Jon Favreau is responsible for directing the
first two Iron Man.
First two Iron Man movies. If you didn't know that, most of you probably do. Yes, he also plays Happy in those movies,
and he also voices Pre Vizsla.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Yes, you're exactly right. But also, Jon Favreau also directed Elf. So here's a guy who's like, I want to do a Christmas movie, makes a Christmas classic. You know, he says I want to do superheroes, makes superhero classic movies. Because Iron Man 1 is one of the best superhero movies there is, I think, in my opinion, anyway.
That's a very good one.
So then he decides to do Star Wars. Nails it.
Nails it.
Well, also, and here's, I think Dave Filoni has gone a little. He's been a little shadowed in this thing because Dave Filoni to me is a Star Wars genius. I think he is so smart.
He knows exactly what to do.
Dave Filoni is responsible. For those of you who don't know, he's responsible for the Clone Wars.
He helped
George
Lucas on the Clone Wars.
Helped George Lucas on that, and also is responsible for Star Wars Rebels.
Oh my gosh, Star Wars Rebels.
And so then we'll get into what you were saying, that Jon Favreau actually voices a character named Pre Vizsla in the Clone Wars. Those two guys are awesome at what they've done with The Mandalorian. The show is incredible. I really, really like it. It looks Star Wars. It feels Star Wars.
Oh, it feels Star Wars. So it feels original trilogy.
And plus, the child, or Baby Yoda, as we all refer to him, is like one of the most awesome things I've ever seen.
Right?
Plus,
he's the cutest and awesome thing.
And you can use the Force for Pete's sake. He's like,
not only can he use the Force, he can
he insane.
Has, a bunch of crazy Force powers.
I know.
He's able to suspend fire and throw it back at somebody blowing.
Yes, exactly, which is totally crazy and awesome. What did you think of The Mandalorian as a whole?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
What are some of your highlights?
The droid fight.
The fact that
episode 6.
The fact that he's Batman.
The fact that he's Batman, first of all. He's Star Wars. He's like
Batman.
He's like Indiana Jones meets Batman meets Samurai Jack meets like all this. He's like a mixture of all the great 80s characters mixed with Star Wars
Exactly,
characters.
and that's one thing I think I've told you before that I love about The Mandalorian is I think that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have made the perfect 80s television show.
They have.
It is so good. It's like, it's like the A-Team.
It's the A-Team.
It's so neat, man. I love this show a lot. We talked about Baby Yoda. Also, okay, what episode is it where we have the assassin? Is that episode 5, you said?
Yeah.
Anyway, and then so at the end of the episode, you have this mystery character come in, and you hear like the jingle of spurs.
Who they still never revealed who that was.
Who they never revealed who it was, but I think they will. And here's what we saw that's funny. If you go back and watch Empire Strikes Back, in the scene right after they freeze Han and Carbonite, and
Luke is following Boba Fett and
yeah,
Han
and they're walking back to Slave One, and Boba Fett's walking behind Han and Carbonite, and you can hear the jingle.
Yeah,
it sounds like the same jingle of the Spurs. So that would be incredibly cool if they brought Boba Fett into like now canon.
And then there's also somebody else that could be though that you had a theory about and would be the greatest thing.
Oh yes, I forgot about this.
Because to me, this guy is like the best bounty hunter. Boba's okay. He's an okay bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Jango Fett's an awesome bounty hunter. But this guy though.
Say it.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. Anybody who's watched the Clone Wars, you know who Cad Bane is. He's a pretty boss bounty hunter. So that we thought that would be really, really cool if they were to bring Cad Bane
look for the hat
into live action. That would be super cool. So I would be happy with either one of those two things. If they brought Boba Fett into it or Cad Bane, I would be totally cool with that.
Cad Bane would be awesome.
One thing I appreciate as a dad in The Mandalorian, is there's no inappropriate things, which I thought was incredible.
Absolutely not.
The language is to a minimum, because as a dad, I like to be careful about what my kids watch, and we should all be careful about what we all watch, actually.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the fact that there's been minimal language, and there's not anything really inappropriate in it.
Yeah, episode 6 had the worst, I think, was the worst as far as all that stuff is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still, you were talking about highlights?
Dude.
Episode 6 for me.
He was Batman.
See, the fact... Okay, first of all, the scene where he takes out the droids, the very first time he takes out the droids on the ship, I'm just going like, this is the warehouse fight, but it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is the warehouse fight for Batman versus Superman, but it's Star Wars. Like Mandalorian,
which that warehouse fight is
like
awesome.
He's using fire, he's blasting, he martial arts, and like first of all he goes around them, which is something that no one else ever thinks to do in those kind of situations.
That's true.
Like I'm just gonna be the smart one and go around the thing and then take them all out.
No.
And then you have the fact that he was able to single-handedly take all of the other bounty hunters out, and we all thought they were dead. But
I
they
know.
weren't.
Yes. I forgot to say spoilers.
Well, spoilers for Mando.
Oh,
we forgot a very big highlight.
Oh,
at the
duh.
end.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that the very end, talking about the spoiler, by the way,
Very big
spoiler alert.
spoiler is that the character known as Moff Gideon
Yes.
has the Darksaber at
Oh
the end
my
of the very
gosh.
last episode. And if you guys don't know, the Darksaber is also from the Clone Wars, which is, again, you guys need to watch the Clone Wars to understand this stuff, because the Darksaber is a legendary, like, Mandalorian cultural saber. They explain it in Rebels in a pretty good detail.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, that all the lore of the Mandalorians in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and Star Wars Rebels is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And you really have to go back and watch that to really appreciate the fact that Moff Gideon has the Darksaber, because that is crazy to me.
It's mind-boggling.
It's like, how did he get it? Who did he have to fight to get it? You
They
know?
actually did watch a video that kind of like theorized a pretty good reason for him getting it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, don't tell me yet.
Yeah.
Because I want to know later.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool. All right, let's move on.
Okay, where are we going to?
Okay, let's move on. So now, since we did just celebrate the 2019 Christmas season, what we did is we both brought
Our favorite Christmas
our favorite
item.
Star Wars item that we got for Christmas. And I'm gonna let Aiden go first. So why don't you reach down there in your bag and pull out what you got for Christmas there. I don't know what this is, by the way. Oh, that's your favorite item, your favorite Star Wars item that you got?
That one. I decided to pick that one.
Cool.
This game is absolutely phenomenal. He hasn't played it yet, so I won't spoil any like story details. But as far as the gameplay itself is concerned, it's pretty cool.
You gotta say what it is. They might not be able to see. Well, I'll put it in there.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty cool just because it really is like I know probably a lot of the viewers that are watching this play Assassin's Creed and all that.
Yeah.
It's way better than the Battlefront games. Way better, because I feel like the story is awesome. It has definitely some Force Unleashed vibes, which is a game I've loved all my life, is Force Unleashed. But
That's neat that you picked the video game.
I love the fact that you can climb. Like for Force Unleashed, like you were able to you were able to get places you need to go, but you didn't have to climb things or be that acrobatic or something. Not nearly as acrobatic as you have to be in this game. Is like you get to climb stuff. You get to climb. Spoiling for Jedi Fallen Order, you get to climb ropes and all that, which is like the stuff they have you do is so cool, but they still make a good story and all that.
It seems, I mean, everything that I watched you do seems really awesome. And, and all the I teach drums for a living, by the way, so I have lots of teenage students, and all the ones that I have that have played that game really like it a lot.
Yeah.
So they've all said good things about it. And again, from Dad's perspective, it's on the up and up as far as the.
Well, you still need to play the full game so you can know all the details.
Well, yeah, exactly. But everything I've seen seems like it's okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yep. All right, my turn. So I'm going to bring out my favorite Star Wars item that I got for Christmas. This is so cool. This is.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The Black Series. Darth Vader. I collect Darth Vaders. Love Darth Vaders.
So he collects the Vaders.
And this one is actually Darth Vader from Luke's vision on Dagobah, where he's in the cave and he has to fight Vader, and Vader's mask explodes and it's Luke's face. So this is actually Luke's face in the Darth Vader helmet, which
costume.
is so stinking awesome. I had no idea this even existed, and you
I found it.
and your mom found this for me for Christmas. So
found it at a comic book store. Shout out to Starbase.
Starbase Comics.
If you guys want to see like awesome toy and pop culture merchandise and awesome comics, go to Starbase at, where is it, Cool Springs?
Yeah, they're in Cool Springs.
Yeah,
it's just such a good comic book store. So that's my favorite item that I got for Christmas. I love this thing. I had like
the fact that they thought to make that is actually awesome.
Exactly. Some of these action figures that they make are totally unbelievable. All right, that's it for this first episode. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications.
Until the next time, McClunky. Anyway.
Who? Pudding! Cook off!
Cook off! Wow, okay.
Back to subject.
Back to subject. All right.